Hello, fellow Movie Crusaders, and welcome to another episode of Sean's Movie Crusades. My name's Sean Wasserkrug, and today we're going to be reviewing the airplane hijack thriller on Amazon Prime right now called 7500 or 7500. Now, for me, this trailer kind of stumbled upon me about a week and a half ago, and I saw the trailer, and I was really intense. I really liked the way the trailer was done. And of course, I'm a huge fan of Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I've been watching him ever since he was a kid. So anything with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I usually always give a shot to because he is one of my favorite actors out there today. So when I saw this trailer about this film, I got excited. I really wanted to see this movie. I really wanted to enjoy the movie and see what Joseph Gordon-Levitt was going to give us because he likes to do unique films. He doesn't do the normal films that a lot of actors do. And so this unique approach was definitely something that caught my eye and was real excited to check this one out. So let's go ahead and hop into the review and see exactly what I thought of 7500 or 7500, whichever way you want to call it. The basic plot of 7500 or 7500, because it's a very basic plot, is we follow Tobias Ellis, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's a co-pilot, and he's basically getting ready to charter an airplane from Berlin to Paris. And while they take off and are flying, 3 or 4 Islamic hijackers try to take over the plane with nothing but glass shards as weapons. And it is up to Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who has to then take full control of the plane because the captain gets injured, to try to keep the cockpit clear of any of the hijackers, because if they can control the plane, then it's basically end of the game for him. And the main problem that he has to deal with is obviously the hijackers are threatening to kill passengers outside the cockpit door unless Joseph Gordon-Levitt's Tobias character lets them in, including one of them, which is the stewardess, and that is also his wife, played by Aylin Tisdale. So that's the basic general plot of 7500. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, like I said, he's a fantastic actor, and he does a great job playing Tobias in this film. Tobias is a very soft-spoken, very kind of calm character, where his wife might seem like something like not getting their child into kindergarten is the end of the world. Tobias just thinks of it as a bump in the road and something that they can work towards a different solution. He's a very calm, calculated character throughout this, but obviously when things go wrong in this film, he's very kind of alone in this, and he's very handcuffed because the number one rule as a pilot holding a plane is to never let the hijackers into the cockpit, and he has to kind of maneuver his ways around this while also having to hold the lives of all the passengers on board, including his wife, who's being held hostage by these people. The whole point of this film is to make this film feel very claustrophobic because you're just in this cockpit with Joseph Gordon-Levitt for pretty much the entire film. It's a very tight space, and with the captain injured and all this stuff going on, it makes it even tighter. And so it's a very claustrophobic movie. So people who are claustrophobic, they might have a hard time watching this film because it makes you feel very enclosed with the Tobias character. The plot in itself, there's not really a whole lot of plot outside of what I just told you. It's literally this plane ride with Tobias and these hijackers and him trying to maneuver and figure out ways to get through it. Now, eventually, I will say one of the hijackers does get into the cockpit, and that is where the movie itself can really kind of find its downfall. First off, it takes forever for the movie to get going. The first 20 plus minutes is literally you listening to Joseph Gordon-Levitt and the captain, Michael, played by Carlo Kitzlinger, basically just going through normal checkups of what you would do on a plane. And it's almost like you're kind of sitting in the cockpit just watching these two pilots go through their everyday transitions before they take off on an aircraft until stuff goes haywire. And it can be a really slow and kind of drawn out process that really kind of hurts the film overall. Even when the hijackers take over and the intensity, heightens, it's a very tense movie, but it never gets past this one gear to really make the movie in itself a great, intense thriller. Even when the hijacker gets into the cockpit, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's arm gets slashed. At least from what I can tell, all it does is he gets slashed. But Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character literally plays like his arm is broken. Like he can't do anything with this left arm. It's incredibly frustrating as a viewer because if you have a slashed arm, it does not make your arm incapacitated through the rest of the film. And he's basically playing this movie like his arm is broken or dislocated and he can't move it, which is frustrating because there's so many points in this film that the Tobias character could take control or get an upper hand on a hijacker or do something that could potentially save the day. But instead, he just sits and waits and does nothing. And it was incredibly frustrating watching this movie when there's so many opportunities for the Tobias character to do something in order to stop what's going on and basically take control of the situation. And while he does do that in certain respects, the main important points in the movie when he should be doing it, he doesn't do it. And it's incredibly frustrating to watch, which because it's frustrating to watch him not do anything, it also draws the movie out for way longer than it needs to be. Even though this movie's only 90 minutes long, it feels like this movie could have been cut 10 minutes or even 20 minutes had the Tobias character kind of stopped being a wuss and just do something. Had he not been nursing his left arm like it was broken, a lot of the events that happened in this movie probably would not have happened. He probably wouldn't have been able to stay control for most of the film, but because his character played like his arm was basically cut off throughout this movie, all this bad stuff just keeps piling and piling up, and it's all stuff that he could have prevented or could have stopped, which makes it a very frustrating and annoying film overall, which is not Joseph Gordon-Levitt's fault personally. It's directors' decisions and the choice of how they did this. If they wanted his character to feel incapacitated, not be able to do things, you should have made the injury worse, or you should have made it to a point where the character couldn't do certain things because of XYZ, not just because he was too much of a wuss to really just grab a hold of the situation and take it. And ultimately, that's what hurts this film overall, is that it's drawn out. Even though it's only 90 minutes, it's very drawn out and boring, and it drags. And it's frustrating because everyone in the theater, if they were watching it, they're probably watching it at home, are going, go now, do it. And then he doesn't do it. And it's just incredibly frustrating overall. So I can't really give this a positive review because you're just sitting there just annoyed with the film for the most part instead of enjoying the film. So going into my overall recommendations, as much as I was excited to see this movie definitely was a disappointment for me overall. I do think Joseph Gordon-Levitt, through the script, did put on a solid performance, which made me very happy. The problem is there's not really any other performances in the film outside of Vidat, who is one of the hijackers, played by Omid Mimar. I think it's one of his first film roles. He did a solid job. He's definitely not someone I would say I can't wait to see him in more movies, but he was decent in the film role that he had, and I hope Joseph Gordon-Levitt can do something better next time, something that's a more enjoyable film overall. I can't recommend this movie to you guys. I don't think this is something that you guys need to waste your time watching. So going to my review score, I'm going to give 7500 or 7500 a 5.9 out of 10 because when it was tense and stuff going on, it worked, but it way too long and it dragged out, and it was just frustrating to watch the entire time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you guys did, go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys feel like this review is worth sharing, go ahead and hit that share button. But most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to the channel so you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos that pop up on Sean's Movie Crusades. And of course, don't forget to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. Coming up next, we got a few movies. We've got You Should Have Left, the Kevin Bacon thriller, High Note with Dakota Johnson. It's kind of a music movie. We also have got coming out Friday, we've got My Spy, Dave Bautista, spy family film. We also got Force of Nature, a Mel Gibson hurricane movie. So we got a few things coming out. So be on the lookout for those reviews. I almost forgot about this. Netflix has got the Eurovision contest, The Story of Fire Saga, which is Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams as these Icelandic singers, which looks amazing. I hope it's as good as it looks because I am excited for that one very much. So be on the lookout for those reviews. They'll be coming out here within the next week. And until next time, in case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Movie Crusaders.